Let's stop pretending this TNA episode was trying to be exciting. It wasn't a fireworks show, it wasn't a tune in or miss history kind of night. This was TNA quietly fixing problems that they created themselves throughout the past couple weeks. Feast or Fires finally forced consequences onto the roster, and for once, TNA did not immediately panic and undo them. Title shots are coming, careers are cracking, egos are starting to collide. That alone already puts this episode ahead of several recent weeks. This show was not loud, this show was necessary. Welcome to the Tea Drop. Strong Brew, No Salt Behavior. We are talking about this week's Thursday Night Impact on AMC. And it starts and it opens with Trey Miguel versus Adam Brooks. And the objective was painfully obvious. But before we even get to that, if no one knows what happened to Trey Miguel, look it up online. He was part of a team that left TNA and went to AEW, and for some reason, he had to be let go. There's stories about it. I haven't covered it, and I probably won't because I didn't have time. But Trey Miguel is now back in TNA, and he is now in a solo career instead of being part of his tag team. So anyway, Trey Miguel is being positioned now in TNA as a serious international title contender, whether the audience likes it or not. Miguel controlled the early pace of this match, worked the arm, and showed just enough arrogance to remind everyone that confidence is part of his presentation. That arrogance briefly backfired when Brooks caught him with a clean kick to the head and forced Miguel to actually work. Brooks was allowed to look competent, which matters. The sit-out powerbomb getting a near fold mattered. That is how you keep the depth in the roster instead of turning people into weekly victims. Miguel shut the door with the Poison Rana and Lightning Spiral, and that was the correct decision. Then Stax blasted him in the face. That attack did more for the international title than the entire first half of the match. It made the upcoming title bout that's going to happen in a few weeks feel hostile instead of procedural, which is something TNA desperately needs more of. Now, quickly moving on, get more tag team tension from continuing from prior weeks between the Righteous, the Hardys, and the System. The tag division followed, and this is where things actually started to feel intentional for TNA Impact this week. The Righteous destroyed their opponents quickly because dragging that match out would have been a waste of time for everyone on a Thursday night. The important part came afterwards when they made it clear they want alignment with the Hardys. That idea barely existed for 10 seconds before the System hit the ring and flattened the Hardys. I guess that was the point. The tag division is no longer about ranking charts or contender math, it's about who controls the room. The System understand that, everyone else is just catching up. Meanwhile, after this match, Frankie Kazarian came out next, and this promo mattered more than it initially seemed. Because Kazarian blamed injuries, he blamed circumstances, he blamed timing because of his recent loss to Mike Santana. What he did not say out loud is that Mike Santana being champion drives him insane. Then, Elijah walking past Kazarian outside without acknowledging him was not subtle, it was disrespectful on purpose, and it told you exactly where Kazarian currently stands in TNA. Santana is not just a champion, Santana is now the measuring stick in the promotion. That reality is making veterans like him uncomfortable. So we move on to the match of this night, which is Elijah and Jada Stone versus the Order 4. This match belonged to Jada Stone because she looked fearless, aggressive, and completely uninterested in playing her role quietly. Attacked Ali repeatedly, hit dives, hit tornado DDTs, and ran wild for a stretch that forced Order 4 to abandon finesse entirely. Eventually, Order 4 used distractions and numbers to steal the win, which was the correct finish. Stone did not need the victory. Stone needed credibility in her performance, and she did it on that match tonight. We move on to some backstage stuff because Maria Ree was going to address No Surrender this week. What does that mean? Obviously, it means she's making matches. But anyway, backstage, Ariana Grace asked Santino Marella for a title opportunity. Santino said yes. That decision was irresponsible, short-sighted, and exactly the kind of thing that causes chaos later, hopefully. We'll soon to find out. Authority figures handing out title matches without thought is not generosity, it's negligence. But it's something I guess TNA does a lot. This will come back around in some shape or form. But we move to when the No Surrender matches get announced. So between Daria Ray and Santino, they announced the upcoming matches for No Surrender in a few weeks. Actually, next Friday. And it looks solid without being overwhelming. We have the Hardys and the Righteous take on Order 4. We have Stacks from NXT going against Trey Miguel, which was previously set up before. And this is for the TNA International Championship, which is currently held by Stacks. And then we have Li Ying Lee versus Ariana Grace from NXT for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. And apparently, Santana's not defending his title, but he is instead tag teaming with Leon Slater to go against Nick Nemeth and Eddie Edwards. Then, before we get to that, Steve Macklin entered and turned the emotional dial all the way up. Macklin spoke out about loyalty, all this backstage. He spoke about pride. He spoke about believing in Mike Santana when few others did. Santana came out and believed him. That was his mistake because eventually he gets attacked and so on and so forth. But that happens later on. We're going to talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to TNA. Tessa Blanchard is in ring action that TNA. And if you know, you don't. And if you don't, it's okay you don't know Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard apparently gets a squash match. She demolishes her opponent in minutes. I guess it was expected for TNA, but no one in this end gives a crap about it. Blanchard remains elite in the ring, and that is, I guess, up for TNA, not up for debate. What remains unresolved is everything surrounding her. TNA is once again betting that performance alone will outweigh controversy. That bet has burned companies before. I don't think it's something TNA wants to play with, given that they are trying to maintain a deal with AMC. But whatever, it's their company. Let them run it the way they want it. We move on. I literally just turned off that match because I don't give a crap. She's just a legacy name and a decent wrestler, among other things. Anyway, Elegance Brand versus Angel Warriors and Indy Hartwell. This women's tag match was better than it had any right to be. Match by Elegance returning healthy was the real headline. She looked ready, active, and engaged, which is a significant boost for the division. The finish almost did not matter. The post-match attack confirmed that this rivalry is continuing, which is exactly what it should do. This felt like a division that finally has layers instead of placeholders. Now we move on after that match. Mike Santana speaks and the system answers. Mike Santana closed the show with a promo that felt honest rather than rehearsed, which is typical Mike Santana promo fashion, which is probably the best thing about him. His promos are amazing. His wrestling is great too. It's just I guess because we're both, Boricua, we're always going to connect. But anyway, he speaks about how being a champion changes people. He spoke about betrayal. He spoke about how success exposes insecurity in others. Then the system attacked him immediately because they do not debate, they dominate. And don't forget, one of them has the championship opportunity against him. The Hardys made the save. We have Moose returning, the Hardys saving him, and that's where we end. Moose standing beside Santana was not nostalgia. It was not a fan service. It was a warning. It signaled that the championship scene is about to become violent, crowded, and political all at once, at least backstage politics. That is exactly what it should be. This episode was not designed to impress many. It was designed to set traps. It's designed to set stories. Feast or Fire is finally paying off. No Surrender has real tension behind it on its way to next Friday. Mike Santana is no longer just a champion. He is the center of gravity for TNA. Macklin betrayals matters. The system feels dangerous again, and the title picture feels unstable. Sometimes momentum is loud. Sometimes momentum is uncomfortable. This week, TNA chose uncomfortable, and I think that was the correct choice. So without that, let me know in the comments your thoughts on TNA. Are we on a good trajectory towards No Surrender on Friday, this February 13th? Or are we hoping for something more? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next one.